All right, everybody, welcome to Axie Chat. We're excited to be here tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining
So
the
excited.
stream. I'm sorry, I just can't not grin. I'm just have so much fun when we do this. I'm trying, man, but it's just all of the evil plots and plans that I have. I can't stop
You're
smiling.
taking pride in my sadness.
I should have got me one of those too.
Just be
That's
nice, give me some comfort. I want to feel
okay.
good.
Okay, all
Help me
right.
help me turn this frown upside down.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Now
It,
listen guys, I wanna start this thing off. Some of you guys might not be keyed in regarding my sad face. Before we get going tonight, and thanks everybody for
uh-oh. I'm worried we might have just lost Enjoi. Uh-oh. Well, I bet we'll get him back here in just a second. Hopefully I'm still here. Well, I'm gonna keep going. We'll get Enjoi back in a second. I'm sure that he just had his internet or something kind of caused trouble. So, uh, one of the things I think he was going to talk about, we'll get him back here soon, I'm sure. But one of the things he was going to talk about was just a couple of format changes. And one of the format changes we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to kind of give this disclaimer. We're going to give a disclaimer just so people realize that we're here just having fun. We're here mostly for entertainment purposes. We definitely want it to be informational as well. Hopefully what we're talking about is something you're interested. We assume it is because you're here, and we're excited about that. But remember, you all have to do your own research. We're not giving financial advice or anything like that. And now you've got double baronar. Let me fix that. Oh, whoops. Hold on just 1 second. Well, there we go. Okay, as soon as we get Enjoi back, we'll get him back on. But in the meantime, I guess I'm just going to keep on going through again. Yeah, 2 times baronar for just a second. How about that? So welcome to what we're going to call the public stream for now. And I'm sure we're going to get Enjoi back here in just a minute. But so we're going to kind of go forward with our kind of more public stream, and we're going to have a great time. It's going to be good stuff, and you're going to be glad that you're here because we're going to have a real good time. So as part of that, we don't really have a full announcement yet with regard to this, but yeah, people already asking. Right on. Okay, hey, hold on. We'll get this going. I'm gonna pause for just a second, and we'll get everything back up to snuff here. And I'm gonna just put us back on the start streaming screen just a second. coming back on. Hey, everybody, we're back at it. We've got Enjoi. Here we go. All right.
Guys, the reason I'm really sad is baronar keeps cutting me out of the streams. Uh, man, technology issues. Anyways, I got through like half of my spiel and then realized that you guys didn't hear any of it. So real quick, I'm going to give you all a quick short story. It sounded like baronar was able to give you a little bit of insight about what's in store. We're going to be making some changes to Axie Chat. I think it's all really exciting. It's stuff that we've been talking about for a couple months now and just haven't gotten to. We both got families. You can probably hear my kids screaming in the background. It's all stuff that we work around to make this happen every week for all of you. And this last week, I personally was a little bit bummed. We got some negative comments about Axie Chat, the community in general, specifically pointing out baronar as like some sort of shiller scammer and saying that his smile was like somehow negative and not legitimate. Like I don't even remember what it was. Just stupid stuff. Um, you know, you guys are like family, and honestly, normally I try not to give in to internet trolls or cyberbullies. No attention at all. But in a roundabout, completely disrespectful way, there was kind of a point made, which brings us back to the reason that we're going to be trying to make some changes, or part of it, anyways. As we move forward, and I'll get to that in a bit. It came to my attention while I was thinking about all this stuff. Most of you don't know why we're doing this in the first place. And I think it's all kind of important, to give some background. I've been in the community since December 2018. Baronar's a little bit newer, May 2020. And when Axie actually first started, compared to now when we've actually got a game to play, there was nothing to do back then. The OGs, even before my time, joke about Discord being the game back then, just communicating. Like, that was the community, was the game. They were invested in all these cute little Axies, but you could see them on a screen, but they didn't do anything. There was Discord, and then a little bit later there was auto battles, and eventually later the arena battles as we know today came out, adventure mode, SLP. But really all there was to do back then was to speculate about what's to come. Like, a lot of people had spent a lot of money, and speculation was the name of the game. Just trying to figure out what's coming next. What's the team got in store? Piecing together all these puzzle pieces that they kind of left in Discord posts and Twitter posts and 10 or 20 different websites. We've got a wiki, we've got Freak site, we've got and again, I'm gonna get myself into trouble where I'm naming people who have kind of helped grow this whole thing organically. Various newsletter programs the team had tried out, Reddit, Medium, Twitter posts, like all of this information wasn't in one spot where you could just go to and get everything that you needed, or really have any like cohesive understanding of what this was, what Axie was and was going to be, all in one spot. So because we were all trying to speculate and trying to rationalize our somewhat insane spending on digital pets at that point, and this kind of came about from that. To put it in perspective, NFTs at that point were not a thing. Like, of course they were a thing, but they're just becoming popular. They're just starting to hit the news sources. They're just becoming considered somewhat a valid investment, and really not even. Like, if I told my parents what I was invested in or was playing around with, they'd go nuts. But so baronar came into the scene and was really curious about how all this stuff was pieced together. I had been doing the research. And we were almost having weekly calls, or at least, long Discord conversations about how things could play out. What does play to earn even mean? Because that wasn't a thing back then. And again, both of us back then had dumped a lot of money into something that was unproven, had no, basis at all. There was no basis. So we were just trying to look at it from an investor standpoint, trying to figure out how big it could get, all this sort of stuff. It brings me to why we're here now, though. We're having these calls weekly anyways. At that time, there was nothing going on between, 6 month long. There were 6 months between every GHO update. There was really nothing going on. There were, 700 people in the community, who were talking to each other. So we're trying to provide something to do between these long development cycles. Because again, what we've got now, what we've got with these, every couple weeks, a new interview comes out with Jiho talking Wall Street Journal, unheard of
Yeah,
back
for
then.
real.
The monthly development updates, we had to pester them for a year and a half before those started. Another thing was centralizing all this information into one place. Our goal was to kind of put it into one cohesive place, and we could do that via website. I tried with Axie Edge, and it's certainly helpful, but there's so much and it changes all the time. It's really hard to keep all that stuff up to date unless you're doing it all the time as like almost a full-time job. We wanted to provide better insights into the math and into the investment side of things, because again, there is an investment. As much as we want to consider this a game, it plays together with the economy. It's not just a game. At first it was just crypto people who were looking at it as an investment and potentially something in the future. Now there's a game that's kind of backing it all, but we wanted to provide insights into kind of all of these stats that we saw all over the place and leaks that the team dropped in Discord and whatever, and try and make it all make sense. And then the last thing is, we had so many people coming into Discord, and as we saw with the kind of explosion towards the late last year, with COVID happening, the Philippines blowing up for Axie, and really this growth from under 10,000 people to over 30,000 people in the Discord. The same questions kept coming up over and over and over again, and not that that's bad. It's partly due to there not being a centralized source for all this information, but we wanted to keep people up to date with the latest information. So that's kind of why we're here. But I'll jump back and Baronar, I'm sorry for this long monologue.
No,
again. I think it's really important. Because this guy was stirring up trouble. Again, it was one guy. It shouldn't bother me. It does, whatever, I'm human. And I don't think there were really any valid points by any means. Again, he criticized us for being too excited about Axie and saying that we were pumping it up to dump on people. Frickin' Baronar's over here buying land and giving you guys heads up before he does it so that you have a chance to do it before him. And he doesn't stop. Me, however, I've got a family. You do too, but I might make a few sales just because I got to pay the bills. But I'm not dumping anyways. Anyways, all this stuff kind of made us realize that the player base is changing. It's not just investors anymore. It's people who are coming into with the play to earn aspect, but it's a lot more gamers. Our audience at the beginning of this, even though it was just 6 months ago, is a different audience now. There's more people coming in, and what that means is that we need to be a little bit more responsible with our messaging. Us saying things like buying land right now is the smart thing might not be smart for everybody. Just
Absolutely.
Because we think it's a good investment doesn't mean that it's a good investment for everybody. So we need to be a lot more careful with our messaging. We don't know everybody's exact situations, and even if we did it wouldn't be responsible anyways. Again, I think a lot of what you're going to see here is us trying to be more responsible, us parlaying ourselves into a broader audience. I think it's important to note that this community means a lot to us. This is why we're here. We don't want to put our reputation on stake by saying the wrong things to the wrong people. We still want to be able to give you all the information that you need to make intelligent decisions. But I hate saying this, not everybody's definition of intelligent is the same thing. Different people use the information differently. So I don't know. That was long. I've probably lost track about 1 million times. I kind of forget the whole point of that, but it gives you a little bit of insight into where we're going and why, I think, which is important.
100%, and everything you said, dead on, Enjoi. We want to help the community, the Axie community, and as you kind of indicated, I think for a long time the Axie community consisted of people who were Axie maxis and really had invested and acquired a lot of digital assets. And I mean, our intention, without giving away too much, is to continue to provide that, but it probably doesn't make sense to provide that just to the general public. I think that it's a little bit of a disappointment to not do that, but on the other hand, we don't want to be misunderstood, I think, ultimately.
Right.
I think we still want to provide that information, but maybe it makes sense to make it to restricted a little bit more restricted access to that type of information. And again, we want it to be a welcoming community. We want people to onboard. We want people to come in and get excited about the space. And my smile is just about how excited I am about Axie and everything that it's going to entail. I think it's going to be a great experience just in general. We've talked about how it's almost meta in a way that there's so many aspects to what is Axie the game. I mean, even when you have the land play in place, even when you have Battles version 2 in place and happening, there's still an aspect of gaming when it comes to the flipping market, as far as value and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's still all part of the game. But on the other hand, we also understand, like, I'd love for scholars to tune into this episode and have an enjoyable as enjoyable experience as our Tiger King has when he shows up and joins us in the chat, if you know what I mean. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Our goal is definitely to help the health of the community and not the opposite. So, and again, like you said, it's one person, but I think it opens our eyes to just say, hey, what we want to do here. You might not like me, you might not like my grin, you might not like my laugh. Enjoi is pretty likable no matter what, so you're probably not going to have any problems with Enjoi. But that's life. I don't really give a crap. I mean, I'm here to have fun and promote Axie and get people excited and I love singing about it. So thanks, Lady Randall.
Dandy Flip mentioned in chat, Axie has a bunch of players that are new to crypto altogether, and I think this is the point,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Is there's people with all sorts of different experience levels, all sorts of expectations coming into this. We've got people who are asking for scholarships every day. We've got people who are dropping thousands on one team. It's just that there's such a wide variety of people, and we need to make sure that we're being responsible for all of those. And just providing the best information for everybody involved. And again, I don't want to keep going with this. It provides, again, the goal was to give you a little bit of insight into kind of where we've been and where we're going. Again, as Baronar's nice little slide, we all love him for his slides up here shows. We'll have an announcement soon. It won't be today, I don't think.
No.
But it will be in the probably the next week or so.
We want it to be awesome.
I think will be good for everybody.
Yeah. We're getting close, but we want. I guess this is kind of the Jiho technique of marketing that we're trying to learn from Jiho. Get people excited and then deliver something really awesome, and that's our goal. I mean, we do when we do this, we want to make sure that it's going to be awesome and that people are going to have a great experience with it, and that it's reflective too of the community that we're in. So I don't know, maybe that's a pre-leak a little bit, but we'll sort through that.
I think we need to cut ourselves off and get to the stuff these people tuned into. Right. We need to get into real Axie stuff, not Axie Chat stuff. So
good. Yeah, for sure. So kind of like a cloud, I was way up in the sky, and I was feeling some feelings you couldn't believe. Sometimes you don't believe in myself, and I decided I was never coming down. Just then, a tiny little dot caught my eye. It was just about too small to see, but I watched it way too long. It was pulling me down. There you go.
Does anybody know that maybe Baronar's wife is sitting on the other side of his community screen and he's trying to get some action for later? Like, that was a serenade right there.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe people don't even know that song anymore. That was a big song when I was young. Okay, so
that's freaking hilarious.
Let's go. Let's go into the news in the Axie space because, man, it has been an awesome week. Like, there has been incredible stuff that has happened this week, and it hasn't been releases. It hasn't been that we can play around like Project K or anything like that. But it's been exciting stuff. Like, it's been way cool. So lots of great stuff to talk about.
Going back to what we were just saying, there have been weeks where we didn't have a single announcement to talk about. We've just had to riff off just figure something out. And yeah, dude, I lost track this week. I didn't even get a chance to go through everything. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So this quick first slide was just kind of. I even thought about having this up while you were going to give your monologue. Like, we're here in battle, a little bit. We're all playing the game to some extent. So I just wanted to throw up the little battle slide and the battle tent. We're so excited for these things to happen, but we're all just kind of chomping at the bit. We're chomping at the bit to have more to do. I think half the things that you and I do in other projects are really just because we're so anxious and excited for Axie to happen, and so we end up degenning into other projects a little bit just because we'd really like to just be doing more on our land plots and so forth, right, man? I mean,
I was talking about that with a few people today. Is like we don't like the reason we're paying attention to other projects is because there's nothing to do in Axie right now. It's coming, but yeah, man, until land's released, until we've got Battles V2 to play with, like it's we're just biding time. And right now our community is crypto land when we're not in Axie land. So it needs to pull us back in, get our attention back.
yeah, 100%. But there have been some awesome things that have been happening in the space. Like this one, we love celebrating other people who are doing podcasts or preparing content. And a lot of the news is surrounding content creators. And so, we're going to
Yeah.
have a lot of news about that. But Cuckoo, I mean, 5K subscribers. I mean, hopefully he's sending people to us. He's way bigger deal than we are. So way to go, Cuckoo. Keep it up. Kagi and Cuckoo just hitting it hard on the YT. So awesome to see that happening, and congrats to Cuckoo.
Sure.
And what a great guy too, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was cool. CoinGecko has been doing these the NFT tokens of the day, and let's see I can't remember what day it was, and I accidentally cut off the date, but they featured Angel as one of their NFTs, and that was freaking awesome. Love seeing CoinGecko, big names talking about Axie, and there was a lot of that this week, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so CoinGecko giving us some love. This one, and I saw Lady in the chat here. So awesome to have Lady here in the chat. And I'm excited. Maybe I should clip what I just did and try to submit that. I doubt I'll get any prizes or anything like that. But if they need entries, maybe just our Axie Chat show, just in general, should be an entry for the Lunacia events board.
Nah, man, I'm gonna put on my Grinch outfit and maybe juggle or
Yes,
something.
I love it. Are you a juggler?
No,
Oh well, you'll learn, right? Yeah,
probably not, but that's what makes it entertaining. Trying to
that's
bring the
awesome.
views, guys.
I love it, man. I want to see you juggle for sure in the Grinch outfit. Dang, man. That now I've got that in my mind. It's got to happen. So yeah, hopefully everybody's checking this out on Twitter. And they've got a new community Discord for the all of Lunacia. So, and the quest and information. And Lady, loved you. I'd love it if you said anything in the chat too. Let people know more about it. Give a link. Whatever we can do to help the Lunacia talent show take off and move forward. We're excited about that. That's so cool. And I think I even saw somebody send out a tweet just kind of right before the show on this. I pretty sure I liked it and responded. So cool. So cool. I think it might have been
And
A-Checker, but
I just want to throw this out too. Guys, again, these are community members stepping up. We talk about this a lot, and part of that's us just not talking about finances all the time. But again, the reason we are where we are is because of the community and people stepping up and doing stuff like this. And I remember maybe a year and a half ago, I did with Ben and Chief, did an Axie beauty contest where we
yeah,
judged Axies that were submitted. more of this stuff needs to happen. Again, the reason why we're here is me and baronar is filling time. We're filling space and trying to make things fun.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more ideas like this and more fun things that we can do, revolving around Axie.
Yeah, we had that. What was it? MetaQuest, the DAO. They had a breeding tournament with a beauty
Hmm.
contest and stuff too. Man, I miss stuff like that. It'd be great to have more of that. So this is timely. It's fantastic. And Jiho tweeted something too. I don't think I captured that for a slide, but he said something about like, yeah, we need to spread this more. We need to get the message out there more. I think he used a war bonds meme or
Yeah.
something like that. But that's exactly right. Like we welcome people into this space. We want to see more, and whatever we can do to help spread it and get it into more places. Somebody mentioned TikTok. We definitely. I don't even know TikTok really. I barely Instagram. I mean, I like those things, but and I need to do more of it, frankly. But I know that the younger kids are way more into that type of stuff. And I really want to see a whole generation of gamers. I saw a tweet too, and I should have grabbed that one. That said, I was born too early, or too no, I was born too late to explore the world, to conquest the world. I was born too early to be involved in the conquest of the galaxy, but I was born just right to be involved in the conquest of Lunasia. And I
Yeah.
loved that, man. It was something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but
I,
that's
I mean, I
exactly
mean,
right.
it's true, and I've thought about that too. Like, imagine those people. Me and my wife were hiking the other day, and we passed a plaque that said, "This is the home of the first person who moved into this town back in like 1641 or something like that." I'm like, imagine being the first person to set foot on like new land and be like, "This, I don't know anybody here. There's some squirrels over there, but I'm gonna live here." And I was like, one, that'd be cool, but it'd also be super lonely. But we're basically doing the same thing. We're exploring the metaverse and setting our
Digital
stake, and
Nation.
I
Yep.
I think that's so cool.
It is. It's awesome. I loved that. I was way excited about that. That's cool. So we were all born just right. That's so cool.
That's right. Well, maybe you were born a little early.
Yeah, maybe
You really
my
you really
kids.
aged yourself with some of those comments you just made.
Yeah, I
The
know.
next generation. Oh my God. Snow
Hey,
Grandpa over
I
here.
yeah, it's for real, man. I don't even try. Like I think millennials are awesome, but I can't. I whatever. I think they're freaking awesome, and they should just do whatever the hell they want to do, and I love that. But then I'm a Gen Xer, so I really don't give a shit. That's just the way I grew up.
Do
Um,
you tell your kids you don't need grandkids from them and that you can have grand Axies instead?
that's a good plan. Like I have wanted to have some grandbabies at some point, right? But I'm not quite there. I know I have some gray in my beard, but it's not quite there. So this article that I have up on the slide for those listening on the podcast, it was by Trust Wallet, and it's one that was actually back in November, but I happened to see it again, and I was shocked that I had missed it. And the title of it was Axie Infinity: A World of DeFi and Monsters by Trust Wallet. So if you get a chance, look that article up and read through it. It's a great read, and it kind of blew my mind that it was clear back in November that this article was written. Because as I was reading through it, I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, we all kind of knew. That's why we're pioneers in this industry. That's why we got involved early and acquired assets and are interested in this space because we see the bright potential that it has. But it really was fun to read an article from Trust Wallet specifically talking about Axie and the potential that it has. So check that out if you get a chance. Okay, so I don't even know. We have so many good content creators and community members, but I
Amazing.
swear,
Yeah.
every time Switch and Hoon does something, I'm just in awe. Like I'm in shock. So Jiho puts a call out for people to get Axies in their avatars on Twitter and on Discord, and here's Switch and Honed. He comes up with a great way to enter your Axie ID, and it generates a pixelated Axie avatar for you. So if you guys haven't seen that and you're looking for a great way to put one of your favorite Axies as your avatar, check that out. It's freaking amazing. And way to just knock it out of the park again, Switch and Hoon. It's so
You
incredible.
know, speaking of having families and trying to find time to do all this content creator stuff, he's got like a 6 or 9 month old kid too. Like I don't know how he's got time to code all this stuff up. It's
Yeah.
really insane.
Yeah, it's amazing. Switch and Hound, Clumsier Owl, Tons Freak. I mean, Jador. It's so hard because when you start naming them, it just goes on and on. Um, but yeah, Axie Zone, Axie Dot Zone, just a great resource. We're in a new season. I have a slide on that one too. But Axie Zone just has great resources if you're trying to make your way up the leaderboards and try to learn, what teams seem to be strong in the current meta. I know I've been playing a little bit. I always tend to get going early in the season and, usually do okay. And then kind of,
Not okay enough to keep grinding. I know the feeling there.
well, it's crazy. So, and I love that people love the battles game and push, and I do push at times too. And it's great. It is fun. It's just, and man, I'm gonna get slapped around for this one, but those bird crits, man, they get so hard to handle. I mean, you specifically like create a team that's supposed to make birds cry, and then they slap you with a crit and destroy you anyway. But anyway, I'll stop complaining now. It's anyway. Okay, but awesome avatars, freaking cool, and
For sure.
and the push towards these pixelated types of avatars right now are really fun. And hey, thanks VZ for the sub, and also let's see who it was did a huge sub earlier. Phil Play, thank you so much, Phil Playa. Yeah.
Realistically, he could have made each of those in like customized individually and charged, a tenth of an ETH for them each. And
Oh, 100%.
the fact that he's just releasing that free to the community is awesome.
It is. It's super awesome. And again, he just knocks it out of the park. What a great guy. What a great guy. Okay, H Hiker 42. Noah, man.
Dude,
So the slide I have up now is the tweet about the video that H Hiker 42 made going through Axie land items. That was incredible. We need more and more and more of this type of stuff. I absolutely like that one. I like his take. There are parts of it that, different people can have different ideas about how you approach rarity and value and some of that stuff.
hmm
And that's great. That's what we need. We need different voices. We need different ideas. This was incredible. So Noah, H Hiker 42, man, way to go. Keep it up. So
and,
awesome.
and guys, this is one of the things that I'm excited about, changing up the format of Axie Chat too. Especially when with any of the stuff where we're talking about potential pricing models and rarity and all that sort of stuff. I think it deserves a conversation rather than us telling you what we think. Um, Everybody's got different ways to approach this sort of stuff and how it should be valued and all valid perspectives, I think. And H Hiker, I know me and you had a private conversation, but again, this is a great just overview onto how one person looks at pricing, and I think he makes a lot of great points. I will throw in my 2 cents. I told you I would during Axie Chat. A couple things is I do think that overall pricing for items, while rarity and their relationship to one another is important to note. I do think that it's going to completely depend on earning potential and what they actually do for you in game. Again, I think it's one data point that's very helpful, but maybe not the full picture, which we don't have right now, which is why this sort of thing is really important. Um,
Yeah.
Number two, the other one was just about my favorite topic, which is mixed mystic items, and the only thing that you didn't note because you were going off of the descriptions that are laid out in the marketplace, is the fact that the initial sale page for mystic items mentions that mystic items will be usable to create I don't remember the wording,
Required.
but like required to create legendary. What's the phrasing? Do you remember? I know you
Certain,
remember.
yeah, structures, certain
All
like,
right.
I can't remember. It doesn't say it says like, it says like, it does make it sound like rare, like magnificent or great, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But it does make
Right.
it sound like those mystic statues are required, in order to build certain structures. Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think they're at a good price point right now. I think that once we see, what that actually means in land gameplay, and once we can start building structures, that'll augment the pricing metrics for it quite a bit. But again, I'm not here to speculate anymore.
Well, I mean, there's a balance here. I mean,
There's a balance.
just remember too, like the materials talk about that items can be. It uses the term smelted, um, so meaning like it can be broken down into parts that can be used for structures. And so, you know, to me, that keyed me in that maybe a person that was looking to build structures might want to have some of these items because maybe that would, get them some of these materials that are needed for building things. That's
And
just
and this is my point. This is why we're here and why all these different resources exist is because there's information freaking everywhere that when people are piecing together information, it doesn't necessarily always make it to the final cut. Um, and again, who knows how all this stuff could play out? Who knows if the team changes it or cuts it again, like they did with the whole drops idea.
right.
There's still a lot to be determined as we move forward. But anyways, again, everybody, I highly recommend you go and look at this. I do think that it's a great way to kind of approach some of these subjects.
Yeah,
Again, I've basically built out spreadsheet models for everything in Axie. And again, there's information missing still, so it's not perfect, but it definitely helps to be able to see how another person takes a look at this stuff and evaluates it.
for sure. Yeah, so awesome. Way to go, H hiker. That was great. So this is one I'm excited for too. This is a collaboration. The slide we have up here, collaboration called the Arena, the Axie Arena. Collaboration between Z, who's with the YGG Guild, and then Indus, who's with Axie GG. And these are two of the best, two of the absolute top tier battlers. And getting any information from them will be awesome. And so they're doing a podcast show called The Arena. It's going to happen every Sunday. And gosh dang it, it's GMT, and I never know the conversion factor there. So if somebody has 6 p.m. GMT and can throw it in the chat, that would be fantastic. But that's so cool. I'm assuming, I can't remember, Z's in the States, Indus is over in Europe. So I don't know for sure when that lands. Embarrassed,
Yeah.
but 2
I
p.m.
mean, guys, we've had both of these guys on here, and honestly, the reason why we've had them on here is one, they know their stuff, but two, they fill gaps in our knowledge that we don't even know is there. These guys are just super knowledgeable. They really dig deep into the meta and what makes different teams tick. Indus is honestly a boy genius, and,
Yeah.
and Z is really the same, but a little bit more of a man. Indus,
Yeah.
Indus is gonna smack me tomorrow. That's not how I meant that to come out. But honestly, these guys are awesome. Pay attention to that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
Indus.
just gonna log off real quick out of embarrassment.
Indus has a great track record of tournament winning and doing good in the leaderboard. So just the general season, and those are two different talents, and they're both very very challenging. So and it requires a different level of strategic skill to really consider those. So I'm excited, and I'm sure they'll do a great job, and particularly people who are interested in succeeding in the battles side of things, you better tune into that, or you're doing yourself a disservice for sure. So, all right, okay. I already did a shout out for Miski before. I've got some more art up though, because I'm telling you, like, Miski is hitting it just right with with the work that Miski's doing with respect to Axie. And the other work Miski does is great too. I hope I'm saying their name correctly. I don't know for sure, but man, this Axie art is just adorable and beautiful. I'm just so grateful that I was able to get 3 of them. I'm feeling like just how incredible this stuff is, that getting them to do commission pieces, it's going to get more and more expensive and harder to acquire. They're just so incredible. I think the top one was Axie, and then I can't. It was like Empach for the second one there, and then we got Big Crit Brits, Beautiful Pamela, and then let's see. The next one was who was it that commissioned that one? It's a gorgeous one too. Shoot, is somebody here that can tell me the
Double Mystic? One? I don't remember.
Yeah, DeVicchio. Yeah, that's right, DeVicchio. Yeah, Figment. That's right. And with the Sky Mavis eyes, man, gorgeous. It was cool to see the Sky. I've really wanted to get a Sky Mavis Mystic Axie, but I'm worried it's out of reach. I think Jiho just bought the last one that was obtainable at like 12 Ethereum. And again, not speculation. That's just reality. Don't know what else to say about that. Sky Mavis is a great Mystic part. And then My Sploosh is the one there. And let's see. I think I can make that. Yeah. And then I think we had...
I think it was a Fox that helped animate that.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think Fox here in the chat. So thanks, man. That looks so cool. I love what you did. I think if people have Miski work, you might want to talk to Fox X and see if you can get a little animation added to it as well. I was pretty impressed with that, and it was exciting to see that. Make sure everybody has permission on stuff like that. I never have any problem with fan art with my Axies, so I think it's wonderful. And then what's so cool, what I was excited about for Miski was, I know that they had really wanted to acquire a piece of Axie land, and so a lot of what they were doing was specifically so that they could earn enough in commissions and stuff to do that. And Miski did a piece of art, this bonsai tree, to commemorate acquiring a piece of Axie land. So, man, so cool.
I bought 2.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
I feel like I've missed out on the whole custom Axie thing, and want to support. And honestly, those bonsais are cool. So
they are, yeah.
Yeah, I bought a couple.
And Miski also has other stuff on Rarible. Again, check it out if you're interested in Miski's work. It's pretty cool. And I don't know. I grabbed a few of Miski's things as well. I don't know what else to say about that. I think it's wonderful. I think we all should be supporting artists and community content creators. So check this out. You gotta see this next slide when it comes up for you. So the next slide is basically what are these? Is this like the prince and princess of Axie Infinity? I hate to. I don't want to make his head too big.
I was gonna go with frickin' nerds, but yeah, prince and princess works.
The Axie Infinity.
Yeah,
royalty.
Man, they're cute, huh?
Yeah, dude. Jiho's working out a little bit. I think that him and his Under Armour.
All right, next slide. I can't take you in Jiho fawning.
But isn't this awesome? I mean,
this is Adam, too much. Yeah, this was cool. This is cute.
This is super cute. So what a cute couple. What some great Axies. What fun. And it's exciting to see this. And Esther, Esther, is doing great stuff on Twitter. I think she hit 1K followers, doing some promos, doing a great job to support some, I think, Korean artists. I tried, but I was way too slow to grab a kind of cool. Anyway, we're off Axie topics. Sorry, I have a hard time. Good stuff. So
We know.
back to Axie topics. So this slide is talking specifically about the Wall Street Journal freaking article that featured Axie Infinity in large part in the article. Did you get a chance to read through this one, man?
Of course, I also sent it to everybody I know who thinks I'm crazy. Um, Listen, guys, this is one, again, I've been around this stuff since before it was a thing and since it was just crazy people throwing money at crazy things. So this sort of thing is super validating. And we've been seeing a lot of NFT stuff making the news recently. On a completely separate note, it's validating seeing Axie in here. And I think Jiho's quote makes a lot of sense too. I've forwarded this on to a couple people just in and of itself.
Right.
He said, it doesn't matter what watch you have anymore to a lot of people, what car you drive, what shoes you wear. We can't even go outside, said Mr. Zerlin. Um, what's becoming Baronar's crush? What's becoming increasingly more important are your digital items and identity. And it's true. And I've had some conversations about this because of this article. The people who are and I'm going to bring this to traditional gaming. We'll throw out Fortnite, right? The people who are spending money on skins for your character, it's because you're not going out and spending time with people like you used to in clubs or in person. You're hanging out with your friends in these digital worlds. And they're seeing what skin you are as your persona. So it's important to be able to express yourself in the places that you're hanging out. And I think this is what he's kind of equating it to is, the Axies that you have, the Axie land that you have, the projects that you associate with in crypto world, they all kind of lend themselves to your digital persona. I saw another quote today from one of the guys with a punk avatar, but he was basically saying the same thing is his avatar kind of gives him credibility because people know that he spent 40 grand on his avatar.
Right.
It's almost him staking in his reputation,
Dude,
so
for
that when
real.
he's making business deals, they know that he's able to spend 40 grand on something as insignificant sounding as an avatar. It lends credibility to your online persona, and the same thing is going on here. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that we're going to see increased um, uh, trust in the space and what these sort of things mean. Because again, this is just starting. We've only just started seeing real articles about NFTs in the last 2 months.
Right.
And Axie's been here building straight for 3-4 years or 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so
Dude, and some of the
I
NFT
don't even know what
articles.
else to say other
No,
than it's
no,
freaking cool.
it's amazing. But some of the NFT articles, I don't know if you feel the way I feel about them, but I read through them and I'm like, you guys are idiots. You didn't even mention Axie Infinity. Like, how can I take you seriously in a space of NFTs and you missed probably the biggest, most important, longest lasting so far
Hmm.
and with the most potential? How the hell did you miss that? Like, are you a journalist at all? Sorry, but that's how I feel about it. Like, if you don't talk about Axie, I mean that's insanity in my view.
And
And
what's crazy too, and sorry to interrupt.
no, you're good.
I'll hand the mic back to you in a second. But
Yeah.
what's crazy too is some of these articles and some of these interviews are interviewing people just for just for a byline, right? Um, and I've seen several who were like, this quote is from this founder of this project, and the project launches 2 weeks later, and it's a complete dud.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't want to you know give bad vibes to any specific project, but the I don't know. It's just hard for me, especially recently, to see so much neglect for Axie, considering we have been around this entire time. It's not like Punks where it came out first, and it's just these avatars, and the original team's kind of done some promotion work since then. They haven't built anything other than a great community.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But Axie's just heads down, building, growing their team. I mean, in the last year they've added freaking 20 people. It's insane how how fast this thing's growing from a community and a team standpoint. So, it kind of hurts me when I see those kind of articles written around these projects that are, really just kind of a cash grab, or, maybe not intended for that, but that's kind of what they end up being. But again, this was very validating for me. I wish they'd give it a little bit more time in the spotlight, but again, heads down. We're gonna prove them wrong, or prove them right. We're gonna be the ones who outlast everybody else, and
Yeah.
the one that they're writing articles about completely eventually.
No, I totally agree. Again, Axie's just been around for a long, long time, and actually has real, true play to earn things happening right now in the present, with just great potential moving forward in the future. So we will be Axie Bulls forever. It's kind of funny. I've noticed that there's kind of been some, I don't know, a little bit of testing. I don't know. We haven't seen a real test yet. I mean, until Ethereum drops significantly, it's not really a test, and I don't know if that's going to happen or when that's going to happen. Probably, but who knows? I have no idea. But it's going to be something, where it'll be telling, I think, especially in the NFT markets, as to see what happens. I'm fascinated by that because there's so many different NFT projects right now that are out there, and every time I get involved or look at or consider things other than Axie, it seems like I always just go back around to, gosh, I just really like Axie, and I feel really confident about Axie.
Hey, do you remember what I said last week about Jiho starting to do interviews?
Yeah, I know you did, and
What did I say?
you said that when there's a release, that a lot of times he starts hitting all these interviews, and man, we've had a ton of them.
And they're getting bigger,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
mean,
getting
how do you
bigger.
get much
And
bigger than Wall Street Journal? But yeah,
well, that's my point. The last one was a big one. It had
yep,
800,000 daily visitors. Wall Street, I mean, it was right on the front page on the online daily online version.
I know.
Um, but Brookhawk mentioned in chat, land's not playable yet. Better press with a release game. And I think that's my point, is we're coming up on a release because they don't start doing these interviews. They don't start pushing for these relationships with these news articles until they're ready for the onslaught of new users. Unless we were ready to take on people who might not be familiar with crypto yet, people who might not be traditional gamers yet, people who can't afford an Axie starter team yet. Unless we were ready to start taking those things on, they wouldn't be pushing. I don't think to get included in these sort of articles. Yeah, I may be a little bit wrong because NFT is hyped out right now. It makes sense to get the name out, but unless we were doing something with the leads that this sort of thing generated, it's almost pointless.
I'm not
So
going to debate with the Oracle, but I am going to make you put a pin in it for just 1 second, because we've got one more slide before we talk more about that. But we're going to talk more about that. Okay,
is
hold on.
is your okay? All right.
So before we get back into that discussion, actually we got two more slides. Sorry. Pretty cool to see this happening. The slide I have up now is Axie Infinity called it mergers and acquisitions. This was an announcement by YGG that they had come to terms with Bronzebeard's scholarship program, and they're bringing it under the wings of the YGG name. I think, if I understand it right, because I talked to YGG once upon a time about that, that kind of makes it so that they can help handle Bronzebeard's scholar program. So it probably makes life a little bit easier for Bronzebeard, and it probably makes it so that he kind of gets more of a passive type of situation with his scholar program. That's at least my guess. I don't know for sure. Obviously, I don't know the terms. I don't know how that's set up. But seeing this happen opens my eyes and makes me think about things, deeper analysis that we will talk about when we get a more private stream going. We'll talk more about what this might entail and why things like this would be happening. But yeah, it was on the Axie Twitter, so I thought I'd throw this up. I thought it was worth looking at. And you don't have to be silent. You can?
I don't. You covered it. You covered it
Okay,
well,
all
and
right.
you're over here making leaks about our private stuff.
No, no,
Anyway,
I did. Did I? No, no, no. Sorry. Sorry. Okay.
honestly, I
So,
wore myself out with my monologue at the beginning, so
gotcha. Gotcha. So,
my mouth's all dry. I need a new drink.
yeah, I think we all do. So one thing I just wanted to note, like committed managers. So if you find yourself in this type of situation, they specifically talked about that they're looking for committed scholarship managers. Okay, so the next one, this slide is for RC Tech. RC, he has been doing some great cards for a long, long time, and I think that we've shouted him out before, but I don't know if we've shouted him out enough, to be honest. So RC Tech, great job. Love the cards. Love your whole approach to this, and I just think it's awesome. He announced it and announces it, and of course, before I can even think about seeing what's going on, Odin has already snatched it up. So congrats, Odin, on that one. Another part of the secret Illuminati. Just kidding around.
And I hate to keep doing this segue into another way that community members are, augmenting the space, but
Yeah, it's
he's
very
really
true.
doing a cool thing
Yeah,
with this too. It's not just releasing NFTs. It's actually, they're providing, if you have one of his cards or a special type of one of his cards, he's giving out additional season rewards and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So he's actually trying to augment the main
it's
Axie
awesome.
game with benefits based off the cards that you hold. And I reach out to him if you've got questions about that because I don't have all the details in front of me, but it really is a cool initiative.
It's incredible. Yeah, good job, RC. Okay, so this is where I wanted you to put a pin in it. So here we have announced, and we're into season 16. And my memory is you and I talked about what is future what is another season mean for future releases. So this is another 4 week, 30-day, or however they're calculating it, season that's going until April 18th. Do
Hmm.
you think that something gets released while there's season 16 going? I mean, I don't see how they could release Battles version 2 at
Uh,
all.
excuse my language, but unless they're trying to fuck with us,
No, you're fine.
me and you specifically, I don't see that happening. So,
Yeah,
this ends on April 18th. Usually 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks still before
that's
the next
four. It's 4 weeks. And,
4 weeks?
between the two, or the
Yeah, between
totals?
the two.
Yeah, between the
Is it
two.
two
Yeah, it's
weeks?
been. Yeah,
They
it's
just
been like,
changed it.
I can't remember. I think it was only like it might have been 2 weeks. I can't remember.
So let's say maybe a release on May 10th when the next season goes live. I think that makes sense to me. I don't see them. We've talked a lot about in the past, how they use new releases to train specific behavior. So I think that they would do it corresponding with the
So
next
like end of
season.
April.
Uh, well, so this ends on
The 18th, 14 days, plus that I guess is the very very
the
first part of
so
May.
so the 3rd of May. Yeah. So I see it corresponding with the next season. Just a guess, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it's
Um,
it's interesting too because Trunk did kind of indicate to me when I interviewed
mhm.
him that it seemed like he was saying they were like 1 month, kind of behind the
Behind schedule.
roadmap. Yeah, behind the roadmap. I don't think
Okay.
he thought of it as behind schedule, but
No, he's very careful about that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
listen, Darkmark999 in chat said earlier that Soulbound Axie is coming with Battles V2. Psychout mentioned it in chat earlier this week.
yeah.
So,
I think that's been said a
again,
few places. Yeah.
okay, so and that's the first I've heard of it. I think I need to start stalking Psychout a little bit more again. Um, but we're seeing these bigger media releases. We're seeing more interviews again,
Right.
to a broader audience. Again, NFTs are kind of hyping up. More mainstream people are coming into it. Um, it makes sense that they would rush that out pretty quick, I think. even if they're not ready for it, like it's getting to now or never sort of time. Um,
Yeah.
Beginning of May makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense actually. And H Hacker kind of asked about Project K. They've kind of gone out of their way to indicate that the land and the battles are kind of distinct, and that they don't really rely on each other. I don't know if that's still the case. I do remember, I think it was Psych Out telling us that it made sense that uh, any sort of battle type interaction inside of land would use battles version 2. I think I remember that.
I
um,
think so.
and that, I think that makes sense as well. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted here. Actually, I think Enjoi the last tweet that and we talked about this last week, that Jiho, I was going to say Jiho, but the team put out, talked about the release schedule, and I'm pretty sure Soulbound was one of the elements that was in that bullet point, but I don't have it right in front of me.
Where was that?
Remember that tweet that we looked at last week, and he said, "What's coming? What's the release schedule, or basically what's coming? What are we looking forward to?" I think he may have even pinned it on the Axie Infinity Twitter.
I
So
think so too.
yeah, yep,
Well, now I gotta go back and look.
yeah, did do. Okay, so this is the next one. Just to be snarky, the slide I have up here, 10 million USD 30-day volume for Axie Infinity. It's all me, you, and AK. It's just us. it's just the three of us swapping $10 million back and forth.
Oh my God,
just one.
I was laughing because of how insane that was, and now I realize why you're pointing that out. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't find it. I'm looking.
It's not just right pinned on the Twitter. I thought it was.
No, there's nothing pinned on the Twitter right now.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll find. So we still never got to the feature discussion, so we're doing it this week on land items, and we're going to give kind of just an overview of some land items, and just kind of go through some thoughts. We actually have AK's picks too, that I think we leaked that we were going to go through his picks as part of this a couple of weeks ago, but we never got to it. But we are going to talk about the land items now. And to start off with, I wanted to hit those mystic statues that you kind of talked about just right out of the gate. So the slide we have up now is the collection of all 7 of the mystic statues. Just incredible items with incredible benefits. And you've talked about this before, but Enjoi, why don't you summarize again, like why you feel like people are sleeping on the mystic statues a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the price disparity between the plushies and the statues, you're looking at what was it lately? Like, I know the issue here is that plushies are going for like anywhere between like 1.7 and 2.5 ETH, depending on what plushie you're looking at. Whereas the statues are going for like 1.4, 1.5, and it changes pretty readily. Most people like the plushies just because they look good. Some are more rare, and the reason I think the price fluctuation is there is because people are trying to collect the whole set, that sort of thing. Reason why I think the statues are underappreciated is just because they give 100% crit chance, depending on which chimera you're going up
Right.
against.
Right.
If you've got some Axies, you're looking at 250 percent your
Yeah.
normal damage output towards whenever you have a crit. So I think you'll be putting chimera out pretty quick with this sort of thing. So if you're comparing stats between, okay, this one's going to drop more items, this one's going to do a little bit more damage, this one's going to help my defense. A lot of times, and again, I think Z and Indus are the guys you want to tune into to really get their opinions on the battle side of things. But a lot of times for me, because I'm lazy and don't like figuring that stuff out, I just want to put the enemy down and
Right.
get back to base, right, and return the loot. And I think that crit is going to be absolutely huge. So, that's
Yeah.
why I think that these are kind of being slept on. H Hiker made some points about each one of these does that 100% crit chance to a different type of chimera. So you're either going to need all of these, or a portion of
Yep.
them on your land, or maybe focus on a specific type of chimera.
Right.
Um,
Well,
but
but they hate reptiles, if I remember right. Two of them are specifically against reptiles, so I guess the team just thinks reptiles are going to be too strong at some point. Go figure.
yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I even outside of all this stuff, because it's hard for me to look at the cost benefit for some of this stuff, just based on what it does until we see what the actual earning potential of land gameplay is. Really, my bull case for this stuff, even outside of the 100% crit chance or the extra item drops or whatever, has always been that being able to build legendary, or requiring these to be able to build legendary uh, buildings, whatever
Right.
they're called.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of always been my kind of bull case, because there's only a certain amount of these. The team definitely, has a little bit of love affair with the word mystic.
Yeah,
Um,
boy, I'd say.
and and we don't know yet really how that lends itself over to land, mystic lands or mystic items. But I do think, based on Jiho's, we had him on a few weeks ago. He mentioned that he doesn't see them recreating these specific items again. If
Right.
we're stuck with only 3,000 or 4,000 of these total for the entire game, and they're required to build specific buildings, I could see them highly valuable. And that's why I've kind of always had a bull case towards them.
Yeah, awesome. And plus they just look so awesome in Project K. I absolutely thought they were incredible. I loved their size too. They
Oh,
really
for sure.
feel incredible. They to me had this really powerful NFT feel. I don't know how to really describe it, but it felt like this was a weighty NFT, even though it's a digital asset. Like it looked like it had just a real. It was clean. It was massive. It was weighty. I don't know how else really to say it. I loved the way the NFTs were presented in the actual land gameplay. They looked, yeah, gravitas. Thank you, Axie Medusa. That's exactly the word I was trying to think of. But these are awesome. I absolutely love them. I just think they're beautiful. And then moving on to the next one, this slide. Let's see. I'll let you when the slide gets up and you look at it. I'll let you tell me why these things are all grouped together. What's similar about them? We're giving Enjoi a test.
I don't like tests.
Somebody's gonna cheat for you in chat.
I'm
The
not watching
Ave,
my screen. I'm
the Ave.
watching
Oh, I
I'm
see.
watching chat.
Gotcha.
I still don't see anything on screen.
So, oh, it's not coming up. All right. Well, so what I have up on the screen here are all of the rare, sorry, no, the standard plushies, the Chimera, the Ave token, and I'm assuming the new, spaceship token. And they
Spaceship token. The Ronin.
21.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The Sky Mavis Ronin 21. So all of these are about speed. They all affect travel speed, land travel speed. So these seem to me to be good choices, especially for map travel. If you need to get places, which I think everybody is going to be benefited significantly, especially if we go with an MMO RTS. Real-time strategy games, being able to get places you need to go, especially if they're a battle RTS, is hugely important in my view. I know I played a game that was definitely an MMO RTS, and people would spend literally $10 to just get a 50% speed up, so that they could try to catch somebody off guard and get to an attack quicker. So I'm not saying that Axie's headed that direction at all, but I am saying that speed across the map, especially if it's a battles MMO RTS, is going to be very important. And H Hiker just asked a good question: will they stack? And that's a very good question, but I could see absolutely that if you can fit these onto a plot in a way that makes sense as far as space goes, that because they're separate, distinct items, you could be looking at all of these items providing the full benefit of speed, possibly. I mean, I don't know, but they are different items. Some people have said that the team has talked about maybe a 10 item limit on a plot. I haven't been able to find that anywhere specifically called out. I do expect that they will have an item limit, right?
I'm pretty sure they mentioned at one point that stacking was possible, and that it would be noted in items that couldn't stack.
Right,
This is probably going, 6 months or a year back, so don't quote me on that. But
right.
and like you said, the other perspective was that if you couldn't fit it on your plot, then that's kind of the max stack.
Right.
But again, I think that a lot of the descriptions will probably change as we move forward. Maybe
Yep.
not change, but they might be augmented in some way.
Some of them have
Um,
to. We'll
right,
talk about some of
100%.
those. Yep.
Oh, you got my Maker DAO coming up?
Yeah, I do. Yep. 100%. And so before we get to the MakerDAO, though, the next one, and these ones are all, mystic as well. The rare plush and then the two Japanese. I think they're both mystic. Regardless, they're incredible. I I think they are both mystic. Um, so these ones are just incredibly beneficial. They increase the loot drop chance. Items dropping from loot. Yeah, Tanuki and Kitsune, both mystic, as Odin confirms. And so we have loot drop increase, and then we have stat increases, which, man, all stat increases based on these, just incredible. Yeah, and the huts, as Axie called them, the Japanese items, they are very rare and very desired. So all these are kind of like S tier class items that we're going through right now. Possibly this guy, the Maker DAOs, man. I love them. I think they're incredible. I wish I had them. I wasn't able to ever get my hands on them. But what do you think? I mean, so spillage may or may not exist, but it definitely sounds like they're going to serve the same purpose, and that will be that will be to generate. These say Luna, but we know that's Axis now.
Right, right. I mean, so right off the bat, I have one of these. I bought it a long time ago before anybody knew what it was going to do, really. And my whole perception of it was, that it's going to help me earn more. Back then Luna was the governance token. Now Axis is the governance token, and it talked about getting. So the gold talks about 5% increased Luna drops on your plot wherever it's placed. So back then the idea was that Axies you direct them to go off to a dungeon of some sort or fight a chimera, or harvest some materials, and then it would automatically walk back to your plot. And along the way, every plot that you crossed, it would drop whatever its loot was. So items, Axis or Luna or whatever, resources, doesn't matter. So my perspective was that, okay, if I can get land that's right up against the node, everybody from this direction is going to be crossing it. I'm going to put this thing on and increase my yield by 5%.
Right.
That sounded pretty darn good to me. Um, you know, I really think that again, we don't know until they change the description, or really, I think they're still trying to figure out how some aspects of land gameplay are going to work out. We only heard 2 weeks ago that they're potentially redesigning some to to be more of a node battles,
Yeah.
clan versus
Yeah.
clan sort of system, which is really exciting. But I do think that they're still trying to figure out some of the deeper mechanics, the economy aspects of it. And this just ties into this. Now, I don't think that the team is going to take away, especially when people invested money into something, that they're going to take away the earning potential.
Right.
Um, these are
No,
all
they won't.
incredibly rare.
Yeah. Trung was
But
very specific about that. I mean, he was very clear that you know, based on early adoption, based on early investment, that those things will be taken care of, even if it's not, specifically the way that it looked like spillage, the way it talks about spillage, but that they will
right,
have the effect that was intended. Yeah. Yeah.
right. So I don't know if it'll be a bonus to, um, resources harvested or something like that, or maybe give you more. Yeah, I don't know, but I still think that'll probably have similar effect of increasing your earnings,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
which,
Yeah,
which as
the
an investor is the sort of thing that I like to see.
right. Right. Okay, so Enjoy, here's your top five. If you want to go ahead and go through them, let us know kind of why you selected these top five. And again,
My God,
yeah, if you can even remember, it's been a minute.
I can't even remember, dude. I had my notes down for why I selected all these things. I deleted it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. Well, I do
This is
see
weeks
three. I
ago.
see three Arctic items, and I like all of them. The banner, the idol, and then the logs. Those are
hmm
awesome. Then you've got the chest, and then the Stella totem. So
Oh my God, I feel like a
you're
complete
totally fine. So
noob here. What do these things even do again?
banners morale, totems all stat, chest is increase drop chance, idol is attack, and then the logs are HP.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
great
Again,
choices.
crit on the beginning because I'm, with my statues, a lot of my stuff is focused on crit. I like the extra item drops. Honestly, I think those idols are
Oh,
you know
attack
pretty.
bonus. Yeah,
Again, look at H Hiker's overview of where those things sit.
yeah.
I think that there's going to be some benefits there, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to you. Let's
Okay,
focus on
all
you
right.
for a little bit.
Well, we're gonna hit AK first, and I'll just kind of go through his, and some of them are very similar to mine. In fact, I specifically chose one differently because I didn't want them to be too similar. Ultimately,
Same, actually.
yeah. So the trunk, that's the epic trunk. That's gonna increase wood chopping speed. Um, and again, whether it's actually speed or quantity or however they decide they're going to handle wood chopping, that's going to allow us to more quickly get materials. And anytime it's about wood, I'm just waiting for the chat to talk about that. So
Baronar's love
the
for wood.
the Kyber is a great one too. That just increases the speed at which things are generated. The pouch is a great one for Arctic, Arctic only effect, but increases loot drop chance. The wise bamboo is another good one. It's a forest only item, but it's really good as well.
I'm
Um,
pretty sure he said that he listed that just because it looked good in land gameplay.
which one? The bamboo. He
The
did
bamboo,
say
yeah,
he
he
did
just
say
liked the look. Yeah,
it does look really good. The wise bamboo is a good item for
trying
sure.
to trying to dress up your plot, get fancy.
Yeah, 100%. They are good looking. And then of course, he's a breeder, an expert breeder, and so the flower patch is an increase of the incubation speed. And I don't know.
15%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge, but I don't know how does that work, right? Because we don't actually incubate our Axies on land. Um, so I'm interested in how that one's gonna.
Well, maybe it's all going to change up and revolve around land. Maybe you can only have so many eggs on your plot. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Hey,
for real.
quick question in chat from Axie Medusa. Can Mystic plots use forest items? The answer is yes. Any plot can use any item. However, some items specifically only affect use on certain plots or for certain types of axes. So you can use them wherever you want. Whether or not the effect will take place based off of where you're harvesting,
Yep.
that may change
And it may
or
change,
or
but
may not work.
so one thing to realize, we'll talk about this in just a second. We'll get through my top 5, and then we'll talk a little bit about kind of item classes real quick as we're finishing up this segment. So mine, very similar in some ways. I actually have one that was from Enjoi's as well. That totem, all stat bonus, just incredible. And
Yeah,
and
huge.
so and so that one also applies on any land type, because it's not a particular type of land effect. It's an all stat bonus across the board. So those Stella totems are just actually, I think, incredible items. Epic wood chopping, epic pouch, because I'm way into Arctic. Uh, Increasing the chance for items to drop is hugely important. I put the table up there because I think the experience gain is going to be pretty important. I don't know exactly what they have in mind there. But then, it just seems like almost everything revolves around plant tanks. And so the Sword and the Stump is an epic item that increases damage against plants. So, or maybe it's HP increase for our plants. Now I can't remember, but either way, it has an interaction with plants. Either it makes it better for us to hurt them, or it gives our plants more HP, which I think is important.
Yeah, and again, this goes, your no war side table, end table,
Yeah.
goes back to us not knowing nearly enough about how land gameplay is going to work, right? Because there's some games where, if you cut through your enemies, you're going to level up pretty quickly, and you're going to be at end game level 60 or whatever, relatively quickly. And then there's some games that it could literally take you 4 years to get to the end game, your max level. If Axie is one of those ones that takes multiple years, always having that extra 15% bonus to that Nora side table would be, absolutely huge. I think
Yep.
that any top player would need that to get up. The other side of things too is, that may just be something that you want in the beginning of the game while you're trying to get up ahead of everybody else, or maybe your guild is trying to get up, and get an advantage on the neighboring guild,
Could be.
just to get an advantage, and then maybe it's not as important anymore, and you trade that out for something that gives you more damage or crit or whatever.
Yeah,
So I
it'd be interesting because I mean Odin puts in here something I've thought about too. It seems to me like having a cap on experience, like the way we have it right now in PVE, is a little bit more challenging in actual land gameplay, and so maybe you collect the experience for upgrade parts or something like that too. So yeah, but I agree. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it's actually implemented so that we know how they work. And as Trunk said, like if they get into it and the item description has information that just doesn't really work right with the type of game that they're implementing, they'll fix it. But they'll fix it in a way that I trust. It makes sense to me that you'll basically get the same benefit. It'll work itself out to the same benefit.
Yeah. Hey, another little question in chat. Are Frosties getting bonus on Arctic land? And I don't know if you got a slide about this, because I think, again, a lot of this stuff would take multiple episodes to cover everything, but
Right.
we don't know that yet. We don't know whether or not Frosties get anything in particular. Yak, Wet Dog, and Fuzzy Axies, there are some items that give them bonuses, but that's not a land bonuses as far as we know. So nothing specifically about Axies on specific lands. However, there are some items that give bonuses.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, and I didn't get into too specific because I knew that we would talk and talk and talk. So, I
Hmm.
just wanted to kind of give an overview. Some of these items they have effects when they're on any land, and so you notice that the percentage that they give is reduced compared to the ones that are on like Arctic only land. So you kind of see those. If I remember right, it's like 1%, 3%, 7%. Maybe it's 5%, 7%. I can't remember, but some of them are different too. So it doesn't always follow the same exact percentage scale. But
Right.
but the other ones, you see those, and they're going to be like bonuses of higher percentages for epic, like 15, and then the rare is going to be like 10%, and then the commons like 3%, and that's going to be on those will be bigger bonuses, but they'll be restricted to land. So that's a good way to look at it if you're wondering, as you're looking through it. You can expect that the bonus is going to be a little bit smaller if that item can work on any type of land. I hope that makes sense. If it's restricted to particular types of land, then that bonus is going to be a little bit bigger. I've always found it interesting. We have the mystic items, but we don't have any mystic specific effects. So that's always been interesting to me too. How is that gonna work out? If you can have an Arctic plot that has all these bonuses from epic Arctic items, forest too. It doesn't really matter what type. Savanna. If you can put all these epic Savanna items, because there's actually 6 Savanna items that are Savanna only effect. If you can put all 6 of those on a plot, have you made it now that your Savanna plot in that situation is as good as a forest, or can it even outperform a forest plot? And then same question for forest and Arctic. It's going to be so interesting to see how all these things turn out. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's something I've always wondered, because me and you are pretty much surrounding the upper Arctic cross, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of forest land around it, and there's savanna not too far off. Will those people in those forests that only have hop, skip, and jump to get over to that cross, will they basically be paying off like they're in an Arctic node? Other than what grows on their land? My guess is probably yes, if they can get there first, or in this whole node control thing, control it. The other thing I'm thinking of too is it's going to be kind of funny to be, seeing these forest plots or these savanna plots or whatever, having all items on it for a different area just because they're next to another area's nodes.
Right.
It's almost going to look like the forest is melting, right?
Because
with
it's
all
got
this
Arctic
ice stuff on it.
Yeah, for
right.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We don't know, because it does say things like battling on Arctic land, right? So could you even end up with a situation where somebody's putting Arctic items on their mystic land so that they can go battle on the Arctic node? It's
and I think yes.
Yep. So again, the next slide I have up here. I forgot to mention the second one on that one, and that is, if it's particular to an Axie type, a lot of times the bonuses will be higher as well. So if it's for aquatic Axies only, it might apply across all land types, but it's only for aquatic Axies. And again, that's the same for bug, beast, all the different types. But those items that specifically affect a particular type, they'll give bigger bonuses because they are limited to the particular type of Axie that they help. So then the next one, I just wanted to show one that was specifically, a Savanna only effect. That's the top one. That's the jar that we have there. Axie speed increase when battling Chimera on Savanna land. And then, then we have some more special ones. I have the King of Leaks up there on the slide. And this is a fascinating one. Chimera are 50% more likely to miss in the first turn. And it says specifically on this one, does not stack with similar items. That was one of the reasons I wanted to put that one up there. But think about how powerful that is, at least in the current PvE, because when you go against a group, they use like all of their energy and all of their cards first round. And so if you can avoid half of the damage that's coming in from those, that's an incredible item, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Okay,
and
so
I think that lends credence, right? You pointed that out specifically, that does not stack with similar items. So the question is with those land speed move bonuses, did they just forget to put that little line in there that says it does not stack?
I kind of don't think so.
My guess is no.
Yeah, I think they intended for people who are able to acquire those assets to get the benefit. That makes sense to me. There was also
Yeah.
some chat I think it was in the LAN Discord that I think is worth talking about. You know, you, I would expect that you can't just throw, 10 epic Arctic pouches on and get 100% item drop chance increase, right? That seems like it might break the game. So
Right.
I kind of wonder if you can't only use one of a particular type of item, but then maybe you can also do one of each class of items. So maybe you could have a common pouch, a rare pouch, and an epic pouch, and all of those might work together, just so that you can get some stacking bonuses, but not in a way that's just gonna break it. I don't know.
And that brings up a good point, is that we may see balancing for these items just like we see balancing for Axies. These may not, once land gameplay releases, these may all change. The percents may change, the active effects may change, just like you can't trust that your Axies can be able to beat another type of Axie, 3 seasons from now. Same thing could be the case here. So just a preparation.
Yeah, and AK actually made a point in chat that's worth bringing up. So the 50% more likely to miss is kind of reminiscent of auto battles, and that was before me. So it is possible that I think of it more in terms of a stun like effect, that they just would miss, kind of like when you miss for sure when an Axie is stunned. But it could be more specific to the auto battle system where misses were part of the game. And that brings us to some of these other items. I put this screen up, so this has the bullseye, the mushroom, the snow globe, the basket of strawberries, and the melon vine. And the reason I put these on here were, first, the ranged attack. This one talks about having less chance to miss with range attacks, and again, we don't really have a miss chance. So I'm kind of excited if they really do take a move toward melee attacks versus ranged attacks, and if this just gives a benefit to ranged attacks, which I'm hoping that's how they resolve that one. I think that would be really cool. That would make that bullseye item a neat item, and probably one that would be surprisingly effective. What do you think about the mushrooms, the stealth concept?
Yeah, that's something that's been debated quite a bit. You know, I see it a couple different ways. One is, if there's Chimera that could auto attack you if you pass them. Again, from Project K, we didn't quite get any feeling because the Chimera were just kind of sitting
Out
there
there.
and you had to engage with them. But yeah, if you're going through a dungeon or something and maybe just need to make it out safe, and I don't know, maybe that's where that comes in. But that sounds more like an active item than something you place on your land. So I'm not sure. The other idea
I mean,
is
I assumed
maybe
it was to counteract spillage, right? I mean, that's kind of what my thought was, that you could get
right.
back without. Yeah.
And that was my second guess,
Got you.
is even without the spillage, if you're walking back with loot, and maybe another team wants to attack you, maybe they don't see you or can't see you after have a certain amount of loot or something. Um, yeah, I really don't know.
Yep. We don't, but it's way interesting. And in an MMO RTS, the idea of stealthily engaging in some sort of activity, attack or something like that, like your enemy can't see you come. Oh my
Right.
gosh,
Well,
how amazing would that
and
be?
and there's another idea, right? Is a lot of times if you've got stealth in other games, it means that you automatically get the first attack.
Right.
So maybe it negates speed as the first attack or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like I think back at Ultima times, and being able to confuse or hide yourself so that you could get behind the counter and grab some of the loot from. Oh man, that is old school. Anyway, okay, and then the other ones are the magic buffs, right? Like we don't know what these are at all. Assuming though that these are going to be awesome, in the sense that you'll have more protection or maybe you'll have more attack, or I don't know exactly what they'll do. But I like that.
Magic shield, right?
Right. Some of
Is that
them
what it
say
called it?
like magic, blah, blah. Yeah, I think it's shield on most of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So how I took that, and I don't remember where I'm getting this concept from, whether it's old conversations in Axie or a different game, but magic shield to me tells me that you're able to get hit a certain amount of times without taking any damage. So like basically, I don't know, negate
Causing a
damage
miss,
for X amount of
basically.
turns or something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So I've always thought that those items are probably really good as well. I've liked them. It's just hard when you don't know for sure. Um, it's just hard when the cool thing about the team is like I've seen other projects. You and I've gotten involved with other projects, and you kind
Hmm.
of get in and unfortunately, in a way, coming from the Axie space, like I have a ton of faith in the team. I have a ton of faith that when they release something that it's awesome and that it works good. I mean, Axis is proof of that. Ronin is proof of that. Battles as it stands is proof of that. The
Yeah.
energy system that they've done is proof of that. Yeah.
Popoyu in chat is saying Chimera skill already have that magic shield skill. So I think that's where I'm taking that from. It's already something existent in
Oh yeah, that's right.
adventure mode.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The boss has that that shield that nullifies incoming like range damage. The boss
Right.
on level 21 has that. But there's other ones that have those sorts of shields as well. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Um, yeah. So let's see. So again, like not knowing specifically what these things do doesn't really trouble me in this one. But I've seen projects where I've approached it thinking they're more like the Axie team, and it has been troublesome. It has troubled me and caused me concerns. But with these ones, if anything, they're going to actually end up being better, I think, than what we could anticipate. Because that seems to be the way the Axie team works.
Yeah. And here's the deal is like again, I think that we're going to get into gameplay and it's going to take, months before we get items solved and what item is better, whether or not crits are better than, adding damage. This magic shield one is kind of similar to that other one where, Chimera have a 50% chance to miss first turn, except you're getting a magic shield and you're only getting missed um, by distance damage. What is the word you just used? Why am I
Ranged,
losing my mind?
range damage. Yep.
Range damage, but you know what I mean. Is like which one of those over a period of time is more likely to, negate damage, and it's all stuff that we'll have to figure out long term.
Yeah, for sure. So we are headed to the moon. I don't care what anybody says. This is awesome. We're gonna just keep doing great things with Axie Infinity, and everyone should want to be involved in Axie Infinity. It is an awesome experience, and it's gonna just get more awesome. We put Moon March. I think it was actually Odin that came up with this one, and we have seen amazing things happen in March. I mean, we saw Axis go to like $6.50.
Yep.
Man, that's incredible. So we've seen awesome stuff. I do think though, with the announcement of this next season, I don't know if we're actually going to see March. It sounds like maybe maybe even first part of May, but who knows, right? I mean, maybe there's something that changes the.
Maybe we get a Moon May too.
Yeah, Moon May. That we'll
We
keep that
go
in mind.
from Moon March
Yeah,
to Awesome April to right
awesome
back to
April.
Moon May.
I,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yep.
say anxious April because we're
Let's keep it positive.
okay.
Let's
Let's. I love
all smiles up in here.
it. Hey, we fixed Enjoi. Wonderful. Okay, well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us on Axie Chat tonight. It's just been a great time. Um, we are excited for new developments in the future. We'll definitely keep everybody informed. But Hey, we're not going anywhere. We're excited about Axie. Axie is rocketing off, and it's going to be great. So, one thing I will say real quick is just, if you get a chance and you haven't already, follow Axie Chat podcast on Twitter. If you feel like it, you can follow me and follow Enjoi as well. We appreciate that, and then we can also help disperse information as we get it. We try to give real positive information in the community. And again, we want to support other people in the community content creators. So connect with us. Yeah, and hey, Axie hard, man.
Axie hard. Have a nice day in Lunacy or whatever you always say. Take care, guys. It's been fun.
Whatever we always say. I love it. Hey, and thanks again, Enjoy. Appreciated the information you dropped at the very first of this episode, and we'll get this thing out here on the replays, and hopefully everybody will enjoy it. Looking forward to the podcast as well. Have a great one.
See you guys.